Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I am recording right by the street, so if you hear any noises from the traffic outside, I apologize. I have been, for the past couple of months, attempting to live sensually, to live by the virtues of beauty and intent. For those of you who are new here, I will explain what I mean by sensualism, as you might be a bit confused. Sensualism is a lifestyle philosophy that I am working on formulating into a more mature manifesto. Sensualism is based off of my fascination with the 1890s, a decade where for the first time in history, life itself, how you live, was considered something that you could stylize. There was a curiosity and an excitement about how life could be used. For the first time, how you went about your day, how you spoke, how you dressed, what kind of china you used for your tea, what you talked about at the dinner table, those could all be transmuted into an art form. The fathers of such a movement were Oscar Wilde, Aubrey Beardsley, Walter Pater, and Whistler. But sensualism is not like this carbon copy of their ideas. I have reshaped it with my own preferences. I have said in a previous video that sensualism is kind of a cocktail of aestheticism, which is the name of the cultural movement that was happening in the 1890s and early 1900s, bohemianism, dandyism, which is part of the aesthetic movement, and a little garnish of asceticism, which is rigid discipline. Sensualism, living sensually, is about perceptivity, intent, and the discipline of subtlety. As the name suggests, it has everything to do with mastering your senses, amplifying them, and refining your taste as a result. It's about feeling deeply, about being receptive. My hope is to achieve a sensibility as keen as certain animals with evolved physical formations, such as, let's say, a dog's ears. How dogs can hear sounds on a much lower decibel than we can. When I talk about keenness or fineness of feeling, I'm referring to achieving this level of experiencing the world around you. In a video a couple months ago that I did on this subject, I suggested keeping a journal or diary so that you could log your thoughts and document things in your daily life that have a profound effect on you, no matter how minuscule or meaningless those things may be. This is the reason for the quote in the beginning of the video. I would not label sensualism a lifestyle if it was not almost entirely rooted in the desire to seek out those experiences in everyday life, whether it's spontaneous or planned. And it was actually Oscar Wilde who was pretty much glorified for his ability to attribute a numinous quality to the events of everyday life. And I have an insurmountable respect for that. In my journal, I document everything from drinking a perfectly steamed latte to just sitting in my living room at 3 a.m. to watch a lightning storm that I happened to witness when going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I document a man that plays violin in the street, the melodic sound of a stranger's voice, a stray piece of jewelry found on the ground, a perfectly tailored blazer that I wore that day, a strange wildflower that grows at the base of a building that I pass by on my walks, a line of poetry, the ingredients to perfumes. In my journal, I really tried to direct focus onto things that people would normally overlook. The at times microscopic or, downright invisible things that I pay attention to. The fine things. Now, what has allowed me to succeed at now regularly witnessing or experiencing these fine moments has been my willingness to be receptive to them. It's being open to any new experience. It's opening your pores and allowing the world to seep in. At times, it's really just as simple as paying attention to the world around you. I cultivate my senses: sight, touch, smell, hearing, taste. I strive to be sensual. When you see me walking on the street, for example, if you were to ever pass by me in your car, you'll notice that I'm not on my phone. I'm not just staring out, tunnel vision out into space. I am quite literally tripping over the sidewalk because I am so distracted by the world around me. I'm almost always looking around, looking up, down, side to side, on the ground. I honestly probably look a little crazy. And I'll stop on my walk, no matter where I'm going, to admire the architecture of a building or to examine broken sparkling glass on the side of the curb. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, like from car crashes. I look, I pay attention. It's willingness to subject myself to these details in life, or let's say on this walk. So many people today are wrapped up in time frames, the future, planning, the invisible enclave of social media, that there's no allotted window for beauty in their life. The only time that people feel anything anymore is when the sensation is grabbing them by the shoulders and saying, hey, take a look at this. Sensualism is about making room in your life for beauty, for feeling things. The ultimate goal is to lose yourself in these sensations. Give yourself to them. We should be grateful for our senses. And more importantly, we should be grateful for our ability to interpret them. I mean, for God's sake, we are, as far as science has told us, the only species capable of sensing something and then asking why, thinking about it, theorizing about it, creating a piece of art out of something that we perceive. I mean, that's pretty fucking incredible, is it not? What a marvelous gift that is. You could take everything away from me. I mean, literally everything. And I'm okay if I just have the ability to look at a Gauguin painting and think about the context of the painting and think about the symbolism in his paintings and how thick the actual paint is and the color palette he used. If I have that cognitive function, I'm good. To me, I've achieved one of the highest evolutionary functions to ever exist in an animal. So since I hold the senses in such a high regard, I believe in catering to them. One way to do that is by not overloading them frequently. And the other is what this video is about, is constantly seeking new sensory experiences, new sensations. That's where receptivity and willingness can be a little bit more difficult because we are creatures of habit. The aesthetic movement of the 1890s prioritized new experiences. They heralded the infinite diversity of life. Those who participated in the movement wanted to try new things, to experience things, whether they were wonderful or awful. And it wasn't to gain anything from these endeavors either. Monotony dulls the senses. You need to create new pathways in your brain. You need to put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable or foreign to you. You stray for a while from the path that you had been walking, and then when you return, the path is new to you again. It's like it's introduced to you for the first time. Your perception of that path is now heightened. Being willing and curious are like exercises for the brain, and it's neuroscientists that'll tell you that too, not just artists. To be sensual is to provide the senses with nourishment that are acquired from novel resources. There's always going to be a wellspring of beauty just around the corner. Even if the experience wasn't fruitful, it's a new experience. One last thing to say, since sensualism obviously has undertones that are affiliated with sexual relationships, there's something I need to mention there too. There is a reason that I despise hookup culture so much, why I despise the way that people interact when they attempt to get laid, how drunk they get especially, or how they want to quite literally, and I think this word is appropriate here, numb themselves with another person or just with whatever situation they're in. Sexual pleasure is one of the highest sensory experiences that we can achieve without drugs. And people just desecrate the act of it by just clogging the pores, so to speak, just shutting their mind off. I like getting drunk as much as the next person. Honestly, too much, and I'm working on it. But to be honest, I don't really look to alcohol for inspiration when it comes to intimacy. In fact, I really try to stay away from it. I've come to notice that alcohol is actually a terrible, terrible drug for experiencing fine emotions, period. I mean, it's pretty effective at blotting everything out. For one of the most beautiful unions consented between two people, you'd want to feel every drop of that sensation. Honestly, you should be able to feel a lover before they even touch you. That's how sensitive you should be. That's a goal of sensualism. At the end of the day, with videos like this, I really just want to encourage others to live the best life that they can. The development of sensualism is a hope for rebirth in our culture. to kind of stop people in the middle of their routines and the monotony and ask if they have experienced the sublime recently. Has something touched them very deeply? Shouldn't every person have that luxury? Something so simple and so cheap? All you need is time, a little imagination, and an appreciation for the gift of life, the gift of sentience, the greatest of gifts indeed. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate all of you. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Of course, leave a comment, leave your thoughts below. I will definitely respond, even if it takes me a little bit. And I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.